Ethically made clothing is hard to find these days, but I came across a company based in Portland, Maine called Mukrat, owned by a man named Tyler. He is from Wisconsin and found Portland to be his home, not only just to live in, but to have Mukrat's headquarters be in his own apartment. He gets blank clothing made in America sent here, creates the designs, prints them, and sells them on his website with promoting it on his Instagram. And he invited me to his apartment to talk about Mukrat over some coffee.
Was Mukrat something you created in Milwaukee, or was it something that started here in Portland? How did it start anyway?
It started about, I would say 3 years ago. A friend of a friend who was living in Virginia he was also screen printing at the time. I'd never heard of it. I didn't know anything about the process. And I found it really interesting. I'm the kind of person to pick up and drop hobbies pretty quick, just because I have a broad range of interests. I like learning new things, and screen printing was one of those. So I saw this buddy Charles doing it, and it looked really fun. He was making cool stuff. So yeah, I just did some research, bought a bunch of equipment, started doing it out of my apartment, and fell in love with it. And it was one of those hobbies that felt like I really enjoyed. It's really fulfilling, and it's like a creative outlet and also something I can do with my hands. So it really stuck with me. And there's also, just once you start learning more, you realize how much deeper it goes. There's so much to learn. There's so much nuance to the technique and everything. So really enjoyed it, and it felt like a great creative outlet. So there came a point in time where I'm like, some of my friends are liking what I make, so I should start, create a brand, have a consistent theme, and then probably first and foremost, just making cool shit for my friends. But at the same time, I had other clothing brands I really liked that were they made cool stuff, but it was so expensive. So once I owned a piece, I didn't wear it as much because I didn't want to get it dirty, didn't want to have to wash it too much, etc. So really that was a big goal, making cool shit for my friends, but also keeping it cheap and having it made to be worn. So that's sort of the muck is dirty.
That's what I was thinking, a little grungy in that sense.
Yeah, I use a lot of garment dyed blanks, so they're sort of I would think comfort colors sort of, but they really wear in quick once you start washing them and wearing them more. So they don't look fresh off the shelf really ever, honestly. Yeah. So it looks like you've owned it for a while, sort of vintage look, worn in, and yeah, made to be worn, I guess.
Because you wear clothes to wear, not put it on a wall and have it taboo. And I think you've created just that. Music and clothes, I think, really go together. I think each piece of clothing, your style, there's always, music can relate to anything. Is there any artists or songs or a type of music that you think goes with your creation?
Oh, that's a good question. So I listen to a lot of hip hop, some experimental stuff. Probably the most obvious, I really don't think about that. It's never really intentional, but some of my designs, I had one that was called Brutal, which has the text, I feel like exploding into a million pieces. Mm-hmm. I have the Yikes tee, that's a kind of a medical cross section of a dude's face, screaming. Yeah. So some of it is kind of breaking out of very emotionally driven. But anyway, so those designs I would maybe say I don't know if you're familiar with Death Grips. Yeah. Or I don't know, loud, angry music sometimes. So
I just said that it reminds me of that grunge, that kind of we could say girth of the garage band and whatnot. And like you said, there's the heavy, loud music, but there is hip hop qualities to it as well. My favorite hip hop artist is MF Doom. Love him so much. Right. Your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. And I think a lot of that street clothes, especially here, it kind of carries with that swag, and that there's always more layers than what you see on the design. What made you want to create up with these designs? Because you got Gluttony, you got Yikes.
When Will I See You Again?
What made you want to do it? Those designs in particular.
Great question. I was gonna say, that's also wild. It feels like you almost understand my brand more than I do to an extent, just talking about MF Doom, etc. But because that was making me think about the process of screen printing. So once you learn how it happens, and I'll show you, it's a screen that's a square. So it's you take a creative element, you put it into a box, and then you lay it onto a shirt. So an important piece for me, once I learned the process, almost every shirt I'd see out on the street, I'm you can clearly see it was something put into a box and then laid onto a shirt. So that's why I have these huge screens. They're oversized prints, and one of my goals is to have my designs not look, I guess, like from a box screen printed onto a shirt. I want them to look like form-fitting to a garment, essentially.
Yeah, it's not look like it's cookie cutter. It looks like it was actually, like an artist actually went through and was designing around the whole piece.
The design looks like it belongs on the shirt, and then the shirt looks like it belongs on the person. So it's like everything fits really well, and it's not so...
They're not wearing the shirt, they're wearing the design.
Right. What made me think of that was, you're talking about MF Doom also. So the sort of like in his lyrics, there's like the nuance to it. So he takes a lot of different ideas, and the way he's not just saying one thing and saying it loud. It's like taking an idea or a concept and finding a way to weave it in rhythmically and
catchy as well.
Yeah, in a catchy way to translate an idea. So, I'm not gonna make a shirt that says tax the rich. I wanna make a shirt that's a fake movie poster for a horror movie called Gluttony. That's, you're fearing the gluttons, essentially.
A lot of people now, because creativity is just at like an arm's length away for most people now with social media, it's easy and it's free to promote. Obviously you can spend more money to promote more, but with so many people creating their own clothing brand and now having such an easy way to promote, it just floods the market with so many different types of ideas and different types of streetwear. And a lot of people don't make it, but some people are very successful. From your research and the years that you've done Mukrat and create designs, besides the design of the shirt itself or the piece of clothing, what separates a successful clothing brand from a clothing brand that's still trying to make a name for itself, besides the design?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I'll say first, nobody should listen to me because I'm not a successful clothing brand, so.
Well, you're in the game, so you've done your research.
And I would like to think I think a big part of it for me too is the authenticity. So I want to maintain sort of that integrity in what I create. And I would like to think I could, if I started today and revamp my whole brand and everything I'm making is made to sell and to make money, to be accessible and to drive orders, I would like to think I could do much, much better. But the thing is, I want to be making what I think is interesting, things I would wear and things, that are like representative of ideas I align with. So, once you start establishing that, your market channel, your general market sort of shrinks, who I'm actually selling to, which is a good and a bad thing too, because it's, in some ways it's tough to have an incredibly broad audience, then how do you market? But yeah, just experience and being around for a while, and then it takes time for sure to develop brand recognition and have people know who you are and what you do. So that's why I spent a lot, I have to be careful about this too. I do a lot of graphic design for sure, and sometimes I overthink shit like crazy. So I've spent countless hours modifying and then totally revamping my website, developing color palettes and themes and fonts. Spent hours scrolling through different fonts and all that. So I do a lot of graphic design, but I think it'll be really important, and I'll be glad I did it up front in the long run, because what I'm doing is trying to make something recognizable and identifiable to the brand and have it be consistent. So once I start breaking out a little bit more into the right groups and developing a better, more well-established fan base of the brand, then it'll have way, more sustainability also. Having that integrity and then sustainability in continuing with the people who have bought one thing from you, keep making things that they like and follow that consistent theme. So
you, as a small business, a small creator, there's a lot of people who are like you doing their own respective thing, like me doing the whole journalism thing. I'm a small guy as well. I'm 5'7", but there's so many young people, and even when they feel like they're getting old, it's like, oh man, I'm pushing 40 or I'm pushing 50 and I'm still trying to make it big. We've got a long way till we're at that point. What's your piece of advice to young people who are thinking about starting their art or their dream that might be persuaded to not start because they're nervous about what people will think?
You got to know, once you start doing this and once you start selling what you're making, you have to be careful not to be changing how you create and your creative process, etc. Because you don't want to lose yourself in once you tie that monetary value to it. And if it's a hobby you very thoroughly enjoy, you have to decide, because maybe you might just for yourself want to keep that as a hobby and find a tangent to then have a business with that. You start changing the way you do things, the way you think, the way you're creative, just to make things sell better. That's just personally, I don't think that could make you lose yourself. But if there's a way for you to find that middle ground, which is what I think I found a good job of doing, I'm focused on making the cool stuff first that I like, and I think that's working really well for me, and it's helping me maintain that interest in continuing with it. Because it's like, okay, maybe things aren't selling very well, but that's okay. I don't need that validation, because I'm finding validation in making what I like and producing interesting pieces, etc.
So you're saying make it for yourself and the rest will follow.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Tyler, for inviting me and setting me up with some of your gear. Please support Tyler's company, Mukrat, for ethically made clothing made in America with one-of-a-kind designs that he created himself.